Hi, it's Dominique. So, okay, so we're making the pouch. So, you measure a piece of paper you have 8.5 by 11. So you score 5 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at 3/8 of an inch each. Then you measure, I said 5 1/4, it could be 5.5, doesn't matter. Here I did 5.5. And then you score that line, and then you score 5 extra lines. The last one will be the cut, because we need to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces for the pouch to go like this. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 underneath to glue. So that's 5 spaces. So I'm going to cut that all the way down to the last score line. If you have any questions on that, just make sure you write on the in the comment box. And also I measured this one, so this one is 4.5. So 4.5 high pouch, and then you will score. So you score at 5.5. Did I say 5.5? 4.5. So 4.5, and then 1, 2 more lines at 3/8 of an inch. Okay. Then the rest you keep. So now what we're going to do is, so ignore this one, okay, this one I made by mistake. So you have those 3 here, you have 6 spaces here, 6 spaces here. I don't know if you can see that, probably. So you leave all that. So you're going to cut this here, and this here, this here, and this here. So the first line on the top, the first line on the inside, first line on the top, first line on the inside, okay? So you use your scissors for that. So I cut that. Both sides. And this is a very, very easy interaction to make. I've seen a video of Frances from your book of memories, but she was not doing it quite the same, so I prefer my way of doing it. Okay, so I'm just going to erase those lines here. Okay, so now what you do is you're going to fold. Let's turn it this way, okay, because I have writing here. So you fold the one that's more inside, you fold it in, then the next one out. Make sure you follow the lines. Then the next one in, and then out, and then in. Then what you do is you take your ruler or your bone folder, and you just press hard. Okay? You do the same on the other side. In, out, in, out, in. Here I've used heavyweight cardstock. You could make it with regular cardstock if you want to. Okay? It's the same result. Now this one here, you have 3 lines, so all 3 lines you will fold going to the center, all on the same side. You're not going accordion here. Okay? So now what you're going to do is, this is going to be folded like this. So you need to put the glue on, starting on the 3rd line. Okay, the last line that you folded. You put a fine line of glue on each side. Then what you got to do is you got to hold your accordion down, okay, and then you fold this into the middle line. You fold the middle line, then you just wrap it there, and now you have to make sure that your flap that's here is not sticking out on the sides, so you have to adjust. It shouldn't be coming out, okay. If it is, you might just have to cut a little bit. So you just hold those and then you wait until it's dry. So that's going to be the pouch itself. So you can mat that if you want, because you need to mat that and then the flap before you put it on the page. So I've cut my piece of paper here the right size, okay. So I just put the glue underneath all around. If you want to make like a belly band or anything, a pocket, you can do that before you mat it. And then you just slide that in there. So all is good. Corners here. Sometimes in the corners we don't put enough glue, and we have little curly corners, which we don't like. So I'm just leaving like a 32nd of an inch all around. Okay, make sure it's nice and straight. this. Okay, then you have the flap, the same width, which is either 5 1/4, 5 1/2, whatever you picked. So the same width as your pouch. You're gonna cut a piece, and then here you can have like 2 1/2, 2 3/4 inches. So now you need to decide which page you're gonna put in the back, so that you have. Let me pick whichever. This one here. I think I'm going to be out of paper. This one here. We have 2 more to do, huh? So I'm going to pick this one. Okay. No, I decided to pick this one. So this is going to be the back of your page. Okay. Oh, I think I did not. So I'm going to cut it. Just this little piece here. I'm going to cut it, but I'm going to keep this little extra because they kind of made a hole to put on the hook in the store. But at that extra 1/8 of an inch here, I really need it. So I'm going to cut just to the line, you can see, just to the line where they have cut that piece. Because I want to keep everything. Okay. If you need to trim a little bit, you can do that. Okay, so now this is going to be your sheet that you're going to put on the inside of the cover. So you find the upright. I cut it here. Okay, so this is going to read like here. Now you need to know how much paper you're going to need for your. So here you have your sheet 6 by 6. This you have to, when you're going to glue that on, it has to be glued on so that the bottom here is folded. Because what happens is that if you fold it right on the side where you have your pattern, when it's open like this, then when it's closed, if there's not too much stuff in the envelope, it's going to stick out, and you don't want that because then you're trying to put your album standing, it's not working. So you have to work when it's folded. So you're going to make an approximate where you want to have it, and then you're going to see how much you want it to cross, the flap cross. I would say 3/4 of an inch would be just good. Okay, 3/4 of an inch, or yeah, 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to make a mark on the side, just the edge of the paper. Okay, now I'm going to score that. Here's my score tool. So I'm scoring one line on that mark that I made. Score one line. Score another one. I would say if you can 3/8 of an inch, but it could be a quarter of an inch here, and then another one pretty much the same. And you have to have a little bit left here. Okay, so you're going to fold those all on the same side, all the same direction, and the last flap is going to be glued on to the back of the paper that you're using for the background, for the base of your page. Okay, so I'm going to glue that underneath here right now, centered. Okay, am I the right way? Yes. So I'm centering that right here. I make sure that I see the fold, the score line, and I try to have the same distance on each side. Here I'm going to just adjust a little bit. So you have to see the score line, because if you don't see the score line when you're going to fold it, it's not going to fold. So it has to be flush like this. Okay, so that's what you've done here. Erase the marks when you see them. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to mat that. So you're going to measure. So here I have exactly on the line here. Everything is crooked. Let me put my stuff away a little bit. Okay, so here you're matting that. That's the same width as the matting you put on the pouch, and you're going to mat it. Okay, leaving the same amount of border all around so that it looks nice. After that, what I've done is I've punched two circles with my 1-inch punch. You can use pattern paper, whatever you have. Here I used some of the little cards, the cutouts on the cards. And you need to have two little brads, and a piece of string. Okay, so you decide whichever is going to be on the top. So I'm having this one on the top. So I'm threading my crochet thread into the hole. I'm using my fabric glue so that it will glue the string, because that's fiber. You don't need much, just a fine line, and then you just go, if you can go downwards from your design, would be good. See, downwards here, and you just remove the excess glue so that it doesn't glue onto the thing there. Okay, and then you put your brad in, and then you're going to find the center here. Center is, this is 5.5, so it's going to be 2 3/4, and the center here, so you go approximate. Okay, so I found my center right here. Center here, and you just poke a little hole, and then you put your brad in there. And then you just open those two little arms. Don't put them too tight, because you have to have room to be able to twist your little string around. Then what you're going to do is you're going to see exactly where you need to put your other little circle, circle. So here you're going to decide, it could be like 1/8 away from the edge down there, and you fold this to the center line, and then you see exactly where you want to have it. Okay, and you can have it a little lower. So here I have north, south, so I'm gonna put the north on the top. So I leave maybe, I would say, 1.5 inches away, because when it's if it's closed like this, you still want to have, you don't want it to catch underneath. Okay, so I would say 1.5 inches when you fold it on the second fold, 1.5 inches, and in the center. Okay, so you can check with your ruler to see if it's right in the center. 7. I'm a little bit off, so I'm going to correct that right there. You poke that. So it's important you do that before you glue that to your page, because then it's really hard to access. So you have the other circle. Put your little brad in the center. Put that in there. And then you open little arms in the back. And then all you have to do now is glue that on. So when you put the glue, here I'm going to taper here. Put the glue on the edge, like not on the fold. I mean, not on the parts that's folded. It's really on the flap, on the square that's here. There's no fold on this one. You want this to be able to, like, this is the kind of the gusset. You'd never put the glue on the gusset. Okay. So you do that here. And you make sure you put some on the edge here. Not too much, but some. So that when it's glued on, if you want to put cards in there, it won't catch on that. And then you put it, like we said, like 1/8 inch away from the bottom. And then you close that to make sure that you're nice and flush with your flap. Okay, so you just squish your flap, and you just put it, you align it. Then you just press everywhere so that it glues on, and then you have your pouch. There you go. It takes a while before the glue sets, to make sure that it's nice. And then you fold it, and it just goes like this. So you'll be ready to put that on the book. So now we're at the book. Okay, so I've got some pieces of chipboard here. How much time do I have left? 10 minutes. Okay. So I need 2 sheets of either 12 by 12 or 8.5 by 11. Here I have 2 pieces of the same size, 7 inches by 6 3/8. Okay, 7 inches by 6 3/8. That's the size of my book here. Okay, so you have 2 pieces of that. You make sure you put the arrow on the top, going to the top. So your book is wider, so the 7 is here, and the 6 1/8 is right here. Okay, and then you need to have another piece which is the same length, so that's 6 1/8 by 2 1/4. 2 1/4. That's the spine. Okay, and then you cut 2 pieces of cardstock. So here I need 2 pieces of 9.5 by 7.5. Okay, you're going to glue those 2 together. I don't need this for now, so I'm going to put that away. So you glue on the, so you put them lengthwise like that, and you put just a little strip of glue here, and you glue them together. You just cross like 1/4 inch, no more than that. And if you have like a mat like this, you can check with the lines if you're straight. It doesn't have to be precisely straight, but if it's straight, it's better. And it gives you an opportunity to practice to be straight. Now we're going to glue the bottom, the middle part. I always have my joint of paper in the center because I cover it with fabric. So I'm going to put some glue on this one in the center. So you center with the joint, okay? And you have like 1/2 inch or a little bit more on each side, okay? That here. Then you put both sides, the 2 other pieces next to it. So here I'm going to do this. It's important, the arrows, because then you might go like this, but it's like this that you had to glue your piece. So it's very important to put your arrows. Here you're going to leave just a little less than 3/4 of an inch. You have to be sure that it's straight here. So here I have 3/8. 3/8 is good. It's the minimum. You can go a little bit more. Okay, so this is straight. You're going to do the same with the other side. So 3/8, a good 3/8, okay? So that when you fold, it's not cracking. Then you go on the other side, and then you just press on everything. Okay. Then you, if you have any excess here, just you can cut. You can leave, I would say, a good 1/2 inch, not less, nothing less than 1/2 inch. And then you taper the corners. So when you taper the corners, you don't go like this, okay? You take a smaller angle. You go to about, I would say, 1/8 of an inch. So this here is a 1/16 of an inch. So you go just about a little bit more than a 1/16 of an inch away from the corner, so that when you wrap it, it's going to hide the corner here. And then once you're there, you turn and you go like this. So you kind of have a V. See the V here? And you have at least the thickness of the paper here away, okay? So you do that on 4 corners. After a while, you'll be very good at it, but don't go too fast, because sometimes you go a little too close to the chipboard, which you don't want to do. There. Then what you're going to do is you're going to fold everything. Now here, those arrows don't count anymore. It doesn't have to be that way. It could be that way. It's the same on both sides. That was just so that we wouldn't glue them on the wrong side. So you do that. If this unglues, it's okay. Just leave it for now, and then you're going to do that later. Then you take a ruler or a bone folder, and then you just press all around. If you have regular cardstock, make sure here you don't press too hard when you get to this gap here, because then you might tear it, because it's fragile, okay? You do all 4 sides. Watch it when you go on the corner so it doesn't go like this and you don't tear this one. So maybe it's better if you go inwards, like going to the inside, the center of the piece. Okay, the center piece. Okay, so I've done all 4. Now I'm gonna just do this to help it fold, so that when I put the glue, it's easier and it's all already on the right, folded all the way to the side of the chipboard. Okay, so you do that all around. Then you put the glue, and then when you come back, I will have glued that, and then we will work with the fabric. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut a piece of fabric. I have cut one earlier. What did I do with it? I'm telling you about it. I just cut a piece of fabric. What did I do with it? Must be somewhere. Anyways, I'll show you. Cut a piece of fabric. You have to be, like, you cut the same size as this here. So that's, I would say 7.5 inches. It could be a little bit more. And then here you have to have at least 3/4 of an inch on each side. So that would be 4 inches wide. So 4 by 7.5, or even a little bit more, but 7.5 would be good. So you cut your piece of fabric, you do that, and then I'll be back to you continuing that book. See you later.